to ASUS Fate again still have the opportunity to play that upset role, denying or at least making IGL contend for a tiebreaker game to get to that, to secure that playoffs position.
As long as ASF fixes up their early to mid-game mistakes and keeps to their strong suit, which is their lane swap capabilities as well as wave management, they should be able to take Insidious Gaming Legends to a very close game and even overpower them for the tie. Now Rumble Aurelia once again being taken away by taken away for LY4, so not gonna see those two champions in the top lane, Lissandra and Zac. Similar bans once again from Insidious Gaming Legends.
Yeah, obviously ASUS Fate is in a little bit of a bind right here because LY4 had a decent game on his Morgana. I wouldn't say it was, you know, the hard carry we're used to, but Rune and Rapier clearly stepped up, right? Rune and Valkyrie. The LeBlanc and Graves just had so much burst in the mid and even the late game that ASUS Fate weren't ready for that. I mean, yes, they had scaling on their side. There's the Graves, you know, first pick coming in. I know you feel very strongly about this.
Yeah, the thing about the Graves first pick is it puts such a stable champion in the hands of such a stable player. Valkyrie always able to make himself felt in multiple games, in multiple points of the game, excuse me. We saw even him picking up a solo kill onto Slay early on was what allowed him to kind of get the ball rolling in his item build, and you will see multiple instances in the game as well when Valkyrie, despite being left alone, he'll find himself at an advantageous situation, coming out ahead in CS as well as items, now denying this Morgana away from Rapier. I like this pick coming from ASUS Fate and taking the Nidalee away from Hallelujah, but let's say that Insidious Gaming Legends as a team, they can default to multiple things.
ASUS Fate looking to play a bit of the steal game right here. Not going to be allowing Morgana or Nidalee over to the side of IGL, but you have to wonder whether or not IGL would just say, hey, you know what? There were some great or glaring deficiencies of our composition last time around. Maybe we'll turn the tables on you with the likes of, you know, a lot of hard engage. Nidalee doesn't deal with that very well, and you need to pack more than Morgana against hard engage. So I do feel that this is an important point for IGL to say, how much, you know, pressure in terms of the draft phase are we going to be placing on ASUS Fate right here?
Yeah, so Sejuani was available in the previous game, left totally untouched. Of course, we did see SOFM play that Udyr yesterday against BKT. Wasn't really working out too well for them, but locking in that LeBlanc for Rune. Very stable pick, no worries as well. Now, the Lulu was banned out the previous game over Rek'Sai, but Hallelujah taking that up in the top lane for LY4, so that's a double AP composition Insidious Gaming Legends are going to run. It's very strong in the mid game, and they're all very stable champions that the whole Singaporean roster is very comfortable with.
Interesting then. The jungles, I do think we might see the Sejuani still, especially due to the fact that you have the ability to, you know, speed her up with Lulu, make her that much more impactful. Slam into them with Sejuani, then you have all the Lulu follow-up. But it looks like ASUS Fate themselves might be thinking along the same lines if they go for... Well, I don't think they'll go for both Maokai and Cho'Gath. That would be quite interesting. Actually, they could. And this would signal that they definitely want to stick together and fight as a team, right? They need to... Very, very little damage, honestly, coming out from these guys. And it comes in windows. It's cooldowns. You know, it's long cooldowns as well. Lacking in terms of consistent damage, and it's 4 AP champions so far. They really need some consistent AD damage to come out from Listener's AD.
The Vietnamese teams have favored Cho'Gath as a reply pick to this LeBlanc here. Of course, they don't really play much Zed. Optimus, we have seen, play Cho'Gath against LeBlanc, and it's worked out pretty well for him because you have a lot of CC available to you. If you can Feral Scream the distortion, gives you Feral Scream and silence the LeBlanc, it gives you a small window where you can get a very good gank down, and with the Chomp, you know, coming in as his ultimate, the Feast as we like to call it, it gives you a lot of objective control together with this Nidalee here. Evelyn being hovered over by Valkyrie should be another interesting pick if they block that one in by Annie for Rapier against the Morgana, no surprise. A rather good lane for them, I must say. Taking the Ignite also gives them the kill potential if they go for the 2v2. Jarvan for Hallelujah, early impact junglers once again for this.
Wow. Wow, this is quite interesting as you talk about the early impact coming in from Jarvan, but I honestly thought that Rapier might just go for that Braum again because you're dealing with people, you know, that have substantial health bars. You know, you want to be able to chunk them down, control them in a team fight. or when I say chunk them down, rather, I mean apply that passive, you know, where you can chain or those crowd controls subsequently onto them. But this is quite interesting. The Annie and the Jarvan together, you know, do signal that IGL will be looking to explode people even more so than game number 1.
Yeah.
They've seen how proficient they know, and they've seen just in game number 1 how proficient Roots LeBlanc is. And they'll just be going for the flat-out assassination.
So this makes sense now, picking up the Jinx if they lock it in for Listener. Now, ASUS Fate, we talked about how the lane swap is good. Another thing they're really good at doing with this lane swap is put a lot of the gold and resources onto Listener as the AD carry. We've seen him pick up Caitlyn, a lot of hyper carry style champions where you get a good safe laning phase, get the gold in, and use the fast push rotations to kind of outplay and outwit your enemy. Now, with this Morgana as well as Caitlyn, you have the ability to shove waves up, very quickly with the Tormented Soul and the Peacemaker, and of course the sieging very strong with double tanks coming in.
It's gonna be interesting. IGL definitely have a whole bunch of engage on their side. You could argue ASUS Fate, you know, not too much lacking in that department as well. And I think it'll really come down to if IGL, you know, finds a kill within 2 or 3 seconds of the initial engage, they most likely will just win flat out. Rune, once again, maybe going to be running into a bit more trouble in terms of what's the lockdown that's going to be coming his way. You've got both the Cho'Gath as well as the Maokai. I think it'll be really key to see how exactly Slay plays the team fights. If he can lock down Rune before he explodes somebody, that might be the key for Shady to then separate the rest of the team with a good rupture, slow the engage or the follow-up, and then Listener will be free hitting from the back.
And we have to see if the Morgana can catch Rune out with her bindings, because if you use the distortion in like he did the previous game, double distortion to get free damage, binding to the face will secure your pickup on that LeBlanc. So Rune might have to play a bit more conservatively and be a bit more creative with how he enters the fights. Maybe find some good flanks in from the back to pick up Listener. Of course, Rune, no stranger to being rather adept at that LeBlanc. But we will be going to game shortly, guys. Of course, Tournament Realm, 0 delay. One of our favorite things about playing on the Tournament Realm.
Alright, and we have loaded on Summoner's Rift. This is a best of 2, the second game of the best of 2. IGL currently in the lead with 1 game in their pocket, looking for that 2-0, which would mean that they secure their position in the playoffs. ASUS Fate looking to deny that, and so far, IGL looked really strong in the later portions of game number 1, but I have to say they were very evenly matched with ASUS Fate for about, you know, a good 25 minutes.
Yeah, and we'll see if ASUS Fate comes in once again, with the lane swap. Looking standard fan out start from both teams. Right now, Miyu will locate Hallelujah, who once again taunts his counterpart. Shady here, who has the Rupture available, I believe. Normally they will go for that as a start, but hasn't skilled anything up yet, Shady.
Yeah, you know, you really shouldn't look down on taunting and NBM in professional games.
Yes.
So you could, it's been statistically proven that every time you spam taunt in front of somebody, an opponent, your chances of winning go up by 0.001.
Very negligible, but every percent
Statistics,
counts.
man, I'm telling you, I've done my research on that.
Every point counts, and I hope IGL will be looking to get some more points in their favor now.
Yeah, hallelujah. He's working towards it, man. Wards, unfortunately for him, only 0.00001. Not the same.
That's a lot of zeros.
Yeah, it's not as effective as face-to-face BM, you know, but it's still good. That's some dedication from Hallelujah. Strong early game jungler, as we said. Already, you know, coming out of the gate swinging. So all credit to him. In terms of the lane swap situation, let's take a look now. It does seem like ASUS Fate are hanging out topside, and that means that they, you know, I really do want to see the fast push coming out for them. I think that's why they went for the Caitlyn. They got the Morgana as well. They will be able to clear waves extremely quickly. But, you know, IGL, we'll have to see how exactly they react to that.
So normally when ASUS Fate lane swaps with a Maokai, they will double jungle for a bit, and when the wave starts coming in, Slay will teleport down, or at least walk down to get some of the EXP. Of course, Maokai, not too bad at jungling himself. He did do that trick with the Raptors, using the saplings to get him an early pickup, and starting that up for Miyu. Taking some of the damage, of course, he will be able to recall to pick up a couple of items later on. Will it be an early gank coming in onto Rune? Instead, it's going to be a venture into the jungle to find Hallelujah out. The ward will spot Miyu as well as Slay walking past there.
It's a great ward.
Yeah, great ward will show where Hallelujah is, and the Demacian standard in reply to say, hey, I know you guys are here, get out my jungle.
very nicely done by IGL overall to just consider that possibility. Of course, with the double jungle, you know, really it's two options available to you. Either you just go straight over to your own blue to prevent, say, the duo on the enemy side from taking that, which is currently being pinged, so that might be an option. Or you go for the more aggressive, but honestly lower percentage play into the enemy jungle. But if they don't have wards, you can catch them out and you can get a bit of a snowball.
This is a good reply coming in from Rapier as well as Hallelujah. They know that the side of the jungle was contested and ASUS Fate will be late to the party, so taking away the blue buff. Blue Spirit was smited away by Miu, and that will spot the blue buff going off, so timers onto ASUS Fate as well as IGL. Teleport by LY4 to go and grab some experience for himself, and great discipline by the Lulu to back off, knowing that a dive was coming in when they spotted Miu, as well as Slay walking into the jungle, so will be looking to pick up some experience for himself now.
Yeah, and that's the cost of running, you know, such aggression or a rather low percentage play into the enemy jungle. It's a gamble because, you know, if the enemy has warded it out, you will fall under this kind of trap. Akiho actually taking, you know, quite a fair bit of poke, but you will fall under this kind of disadvantage where the enemy team can just swing over with knowledge that you just spent a lot of time on your own side of the jungle.
Three members coming in from ASUS Fate. The binding not connecting.
That binding has to hit. Honestly, LY4 can sit under this tower, no problem at all. It's a skill shot challenge right here. It's skill shot academy for LY4. If he can dodge the spears and dodge the binding, he's perfectly fine.
Oh, Akiho going the wrong way, gonna get caught by the flag and drag, and the glitter lance has to flash away. The flash response by Hallelujah was bound up by Akiho to reply, and here comes Rule to pick up first blood. Flash distortion into the face. IGL there taking the upper hand immediately. I have to say, ASUS Fate making a lot of mistakes once again. The pressure just getting to them there. Akiho mismicroing the damage under the turret, and Slay gonna get poked out once more.
Honestly, ASUS Fate are handing the early game, both in game number 1 and game number 2, to IGL. I don't want to say on a completely silver platter, it's more like a bronze platter, but it's still being offered to them. You don't 3-man dive like that, right? You need to be able to land the binding, and you definitely don't take 3 tower shots.
It was so greedy for them to not shove the wave up and have it tanking first, and then for Akiho to constantly walk under turret despite the tormented soil being on. Just very bad team play coming in early on, something we've not really seen from them. Very uncharacteristic now. Rapier and Hallelujah gonna get caught by the spear. Flag and drag is available. Who do they want to go for? The teleport and the rupture being blown. Hallelujah can get out of here with the flag and drag. Does get the heck out of dodge. And IGL are safe from this one.
Yep, so that means a free TP gained for IGL. They'll be happy with that. Will mean that Valkyrie on his Graves, which was so instrumental in their victory in game number 1, is pretty much just free farming his way. Caitlyn as well, Lysna having the exact same situation, both AD carries free to farm. You play with fire a little bit here. We'll spot out Annie, and again, just very, very sloppy from ASUS Fate. The binding not hitting and then taking 3 tower shots before, you know, landing any sort of significant damage onto LY4. Really, really very, very sloppy. 2 members down here. Looks like they want to push in this wave and then perhaps back. Looks like Valkyrie will be able to pick up the majority of the CS under the tower. And once again, Rune with that first blood. We've seen what he can do with that kind of advantage.
He's going to go off real soon. Start picking up assassinations all over the map now. Once again, the flash start from him. And the early pickup of the Fiendish Codex this time, as compared to the Amplifying Tomb, just that alone the previous time. So ASUS Fate putting a heavy amount of vision and wards down to the bottom side, despite it being the weaker side of the map. Of course, the strong side of the map is where your AD carry and support is in the lane swap, but now a lot of vision around the dragon for this Vietnamese team will signal that they want to spot out where Hallelujah as well as LY4, not LY4, excuse me, Rune are at all times.
Interesting pickup from LY4 as well, actually going for the
mobility
boost. So, you know, wants to be able to contribute to the team fights. I have to say that's a very interesting build, but clearly knows his role in the team fights, or even in the early game, which is, I need to provide that level 6 utility. If any kind of burst comes in, say, from the likes of Cho'Gath, assassination, Nidalee, you know, takedown damage, hey, I want to be there as fast as possible. So I quite like that pickup.
This is really different from what we normally see on Lulu players, because their term of contributing is basically get lucidity boots and spam as much spells as possible. But in this case, LY4 knowing that he has to be around the map, he has to be ever present, and going for their mobility boots helps him get around much quicker than you normally would. Miu, of course, picking up his own red buff. Then Nidalee here, 2 for 2 now, getting the red buff.
Yeah, and I don't think that will set him behind all too much. You can see that Maokai is sitting at, 19 CS to the 29. So yes, it is quite a big pickup in terms of, 8 minutes into the game. Do you really need mobility boots? But his counterpart himself has, a ruby crystal to boot. So if it really comes down to the team fight, we obviously know who is going to be reaching it first. Not to mention the fact that Slay doesn't have his TP available to him.
Not too much of an item sink, or gold sink, excuse me, in the form of that item. Fast push coming in here from Valkyrie. They want to deny a lot of EXP away from Slay, but putting a lot of damage on the turret will give them an accelerated goal lead off the back here. Rune will find Shady as well as Miu, but decides to back off. Rupture will connect onto him, and will we see the Pharaoh Scream into the Feast? The Ignite is available though, but the chains onto Shady. The reply coming in, Hallelujah off the back. Doesn't have Cataclysm available, but Flagger Drag is, and flash straight off from Shady to get out of there. Doesn't want to have anything to do with the impending gank coming in. There should be Dragon for Insidious Gaming Legends, a Dragon ward being placed by ASUS Fate. We'll see if they can contest this.
Yeah, this is once again just very, very similar to some of the mistakes that were made in game number 1. Shady really not respecting the fact that LeBlanc, LeBlanc's level 6 with her Mimic spells, able to chunk him out.
Yeah.
No mid lane control. What else are you going to expect but, the enemy team to take Dragon for free? I really have to say, I think it's fair to be critical that this was the exact same situation in game number 1. In fact, even worse. Shady actually died, solo.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You lose an objective just so easily because of that. And
the funny thing is that ASUS Fate, normally when you do the lane swap, you want to be roaming around, but it has been Akiho who has been so far behind because he died early on, and hence Rapier is the one roaming more aggressively. They've gotten more vision down around the mid lane, and that's translated into the power going over to Rune instead of Shady.
Yeah. And again, just to really put it into perspective for our viewers, Shady as well as was it Slay? Oh no, Shady as well as Miu were both around the blue buff.
Yeah.
That was a 2v1 situation. They should have been the ones saying, Rune, you back off. And then go together to establish the Dragon, control, or at least vision. But look at it. Rune solo, travels over to the enemy blue buff, and it's all IGL vision. Once again, ASUS Fate in terms of vision control, very, very lacking, and they lose the objective off of that.
It's very telling as well in the item builds, mobility boots, and a lot of wards for Rapier to walk around safely, not get caught out and put information down for his team, whereas Akiho wants to be able to just provide whatever he can. Now Valkyrie getting caught by the trap and the Peacemaker. The stun coming onto Akiho, but it is Valkyrie who takes a lot of damage. Hallelujah and LY4 around present to provide a bit of support. Wild Growth available as well, so should not be a kill very soon onto Valkyrie. Hopefully they back off here without any trouble. Shady gonna find some farm to his own, and so will Slay, and this is the wave control that ASUS Fate really likes to do. They get the waves going in their favor and start to pick up a bit of CS to equalize the deficit they have.
Was a nice binding by Akiho onto Valkyrie earlier. But at this point in time, I think we can pick up on some of the patterns of IGL's playstyle. They generally have a decent laning phase, especially the bottom lane if they go 2v2, but since it was just farming all the way, I think they're really waiting for Valkyrie to hit that Infinity Edge, right? And then group together and push. We can see that with the first blood in his pocket, Rune has already picked up his Morella Nomicon, so he's going to do fantastically for himself. And then I think it's going to be as simple as channeling the Graves' power, kind of boosted by the Lulu utility.
I'm trying to recall which team it was in the LCK that pulled this Caitlyn Everrise Blade fast push composition, because they didn't do it so well in the fact that they got caught out and they just fell immediately into a power trough and the momentum was cut off immediately. So hopefully ASUS Fate takes note of that. They can't afford to drop any more kills, if not IGL will be the ones with the momentum swing and they will have the tempo to take the game. Valkyrie almost gets caught by the javelin there by Miu.
Alright, once again, just a bit of a holding pattern between these two teams, trying to sense out where's the weakness. Oh, we do actually see Shady dropping quite low on the side right there. Looks like it was Rune along with Hallelujah taking him down, and it's not as many deaths on the side of ASUS Fate from Rune as was in game number 1, but still 2 kills over to Rune. This is once again the LeBlanc problem, right?
You can't forget that every
yeah.
time Cho'Gath dies, he gets smaller in size and his health goes down. When you play a Caitlyn composition, you want a very tanky frontline in the form of Maokai as well as Cho'Gath to eat the skill shots and soak damage while you auto attack in the back. Of course, Listener still starting to ramp up, but IGL has something to say about that 4 member strong, the minion wave coming in, but the wave clear should be good. The flash Timbers!
Oh my goodness, it's already taken down. There's the Graves LeBlanc first. So quickly, I wasn't even sure whether it was Miu or whether it was Listener. And I have to say, the timing from Rapier was absolutely precise, right? You could see the moment the minion wave was about to hit the wave, and you want to be able to turn. Absolutely precise right there from Rapier.
I think just great team play overall, understanding that this is when we go in and this is where we pick up kills. Now the momentum in their favor, so they're going to get dueled out by Hallelujah, who has picked up the Dueler's enchantment on his jungle upgrade, so going to deal a lot more damage and reduce the incoming damage. Haven't seen that in quite a while, but interesting use of that item pickup as well.
Oh, the chomp coming in from Shady right here, but will he manage to juke out the... he's got the ignite down as well. Not even going to bother with anything fancy. Rapier out of mana, already expended his flash, remember. And Akiho says, hey buddy, I have an ultimate too. We'll lock him down for the double kill. So a good job from ASUS Fate to defend their own jungle. But that's only one side. It's guerrilla tactics for IGL. They do manage to get the red buff. The cost of blue buff, a little too pricey, unfortunately, for them.
Good response all across the board by IGL to take stuff while resources are being committed elsewhere. Play coming in for the play. We'll be looking to go for that Righteous Glory first item to engage with his team, and that's all fine and dandy because if you lock up the front line, you stall out the front line, it buys Listener time to auto attack.
I do want to talk a little bit about the challenging smite that will be coming out from Hallelujah. Yes, while it's, you know, not all too common and it got tuned down, of course, a few patches ago. If you look at the composition on the side of ASUS Fate, there's one glaring, you know, AD carry. One glaring consistent source of damage, which is the Caitlyn, right? And if Hallelujah can get over there and be in his face, drop the challenging smite, you know, he's not gonna suffer that traditional problem of jump in as a Jarvan and then immediately get blown up or taken down.
Speaking of jump in, it might be Slay getting caught out here. The Timber straight onto his face. Hallelujah just auto attacking. Vengeful Maelstrom will prolong his life for only just a bit as the distortion comes in to finish him off. Rune will be the one to pick up the kill credit, and here IGL just forsakes the dragon for a pickup onto Slay.
They should be able to push onto top tower though. No vision actually from IGL around the Dragon Pit though, but they will see the members of ASUS Fate coming out now so they can have a good informed estimate of exactly when that was taken. So, in terms of towers, IGL will be able to even it up after this top one is down. And now I think we'll really see whether or not ASUS Fate can hold against the, you know, traditional or the very strong mid-game that IGL was able to put up in game number 1. In game number 1, actually ASUS Fate did a fair job of it. But bit by bit, IGL, you know, caught on to some of the tendencies, to some of the weaknesses in ASUS Fate gameplay, and then took the game from there.
I have to draw back to your point about how the challenging smite onto Jarvan, if Caitlyn uses her 90 caliber net preemptively and you still lock her up in the Colosseum, well, I mean the Cataclysm, it still allows you to duel her up pretty well and take away a big damage source. And Hallelujah, if you can find the solo kill, the rest of ASUS Fate might be a bit lost without constant DPS from the Caitlyn. Black Shield might be looking to resolve that problem, but we have to see if Akiho is quick on his fingers and able to do that for his AD carry.
Yeah, it'll have to be an absolutely precise Black Shield. Because if you think about it, the moment that, you know, 90 caliber net is burnt, it's going to be Annie flashing in, you know, Rude flashing in. Just so many ways in which that one very vulnerable consistent source of damage is going to be highlighted or lit up by IGL. And Hallelujah goes in. A little bit risky from him there, honestly. He doesn't have the backup from his team. But ASUS Fate, once again, the vision game from them is just so lacking, you know. That was a very, very aggressive move from Hallelujah to use his Flag and Dragon without the backup of Valkyrie and LY4. But there simply isn't the vision from ASUS Fate to know that.
Getting
They simply don't know
here.
that.
the Vietnamese side. The turret is going to go down. IGL might want to go into this. The flag and drag will connect onto two members. Very well done. And the Wild Growth on top as well. Slate is all in the back line of IGL, but will he get finished off? Here, Hallelujah has to flash away, and the damage return from ASUS Fate is so good. They're on the chase now. IGL has to run away. LY4 is the target for Ace in the hole, but his AD carry will protect him. Rune off the side, waiting for his cooldowns. Might be looking to pick up members from ASUS Fate, but will be the disengage. That is clean from IGL here. Bot wave still pushing in very heavily, but ASUS Fate still wants to chase some more.
Yeah, not the cleanest engage coming in from IGL's Hallelujah right there. Managing to only land his knockup onto Slay. We saw LY4, you know, boosting that engage somewhat with the fact that he had his, the fact that he used the Wild Growth onto Hallelujah after that. But still, not the cleanest engage, not the most crisp. ASUS Fate able to collect themselves, regroup, and a nice double knockup from Shady to actually make the turn more effective, or the chase more effective. Now it's IGL on the defense. They haven't yet actually had the time to go back and buy or heal as well as buy.
Yeah, there was a misplay coming in. Hallelujah did not recall to heal up, and if we're just getting chunked out, once again has to recall and swap positions with Rune in the mid lane. Dodging bindings very well done by Hallelujah. Excuse me, Valkyrie, and the teleport coming in from LY4 in the mid lane. Do they want to pick up Listener here? He flashes, but with the home guard, one more good lens will take him down. LY4 finds the pickup on the AD carry, and it's a 4v5 now. ASUS Fate should be backing off here.
Looks like IGL are moving forward. ASUS Fate not all to face the 4 members down here though. That's quite a heavy price to pay, excuse me. As a nice knock on the Hallelujah just gets munched on. IGL playing a dangerous game right here. They've got to push onto the tier 2, but they have paid the price of one of their members.
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
trying to stop the recalls in the top side. The turret goes down in the mid, and here is ASUS Fate having to walk away. Miu, Akiho, as well as Slay, all stranded in the top side of the map. Rounding around the corner is LY4. He wants to pick off ASUS Fate one by one. Akiho running and deserting his team here. Will they sacrifice Slay here? LY4 spots him out with the ward there. This is a bit tree. Who will the kill go over to? Because Valkyrie, he needs that goal right now, and nope, Rune just gonna pick that up in response. ASUS Fate falls, one member down, and Dragon up in a minute and 30. Will IGL be able to take that? Or even better, will they be able to take the Baron?
This would be very, very bold by them. But forward vision from IGL. How willing to commit this are? How willing to commit to this are they? That spear actually didn't hit. There's the trap though. As Rune goes in, doesn't manage to hit the chain. Still toying with them and actually choosing to not take his distortion back. What is called from IGL? Dragon will be spawning in 1 minute. They don't quite have the consistent damage to take Baron down just yet with ASUS Fate hanging around. Very, very interesting play coming in from ASUS Fate, right? They spend so long at the tier 2 at bottom that they sacrificed their tier 2 in mid pretty much for free. Definitely wasn't worth it, you have to feel. I mean, yes, they got Hallelujah, but in the overall scheme of things, that tier 2 was taken down very easily, and more importantly, the flash being burned from Listener and the flash available to Rapier means we might see a repeat of what happened in the mid tier 1. So the flash Annie and then the explosion from there.
The good news is that IGL has the capabilities to force picks as long as they have the prerequisite vision around the curves and bends of ASUS Fate's jungle now. As long as they can force ASUS Fate to walk into Fog, Tibbers into double Sigil of Malice should be a kill and pick up for IGL, and that's when they can start to push the advantage. If they fight a 5v5, there's a high chance that ASUS Fate is going to come out and hit, and IGL don't really want to give over the advantage that they have now. Of course, 2,000 gold in their pockets, or slightly under 2,000 gold. Spread across the map, 2 on the top for IGL to take the blue buff, and this is a small window that they've relented over to the Vietnamese side. Of course, their vision being contested heavily. Rapier might get caught here. Oh no, they're going on to Shady, the Glare, a disengaged Righteous Glory, and the Vengeful Maelstrom, but 2 members get caught out here, and the Wild Growth will pop Shady in the backline. Miu gets caught by Hallelujah. He gets taken down in response, and IGL, 4 members still alive here. They have to run away. ASUS Fate also 4 members strong. The spears and javelins being thrown out by Miu, but going in the wrong direction. Listener totally healthy with the static shift. Dragon available as a reward for the fight, but here Rune trying to find a pickup onto Miu has to flash away, or excuse me, leap or pounce away. The Nelly not really in the range of death anytime soon. ASUS Fate here want to start the Dragon up. IGL off the bench, Scrying Orb was used to spot 4 members out, and they do see that Graves is alone all by his lonesome. Rune coming in for the assassination. Dragon goes over to ASUS Fate. Vengeful Maelstrom pops for the damage mitigation, and the red team running away with the tails between their legs, but they come out ahead with the Dragon. LY4 Valkyrie as well as Rapier in the mid lane converging. They did not get the Dragon, but they will find some consolation prize in the form of some minions.
Yeah, good job by ASUS Fate right there to just work with the jungler mismatch. Jarvan went down in that whole, Listener. Jarvan did go down, of course, in that first scuffle around the Dragon pit. And whoa, okay. Okay, Maokai. Maokai's mad. Looks like they really want to get Rapier, and
yeah.
Home Guard's TP with Righteous Glory. ASUS Fate really upping the tempo with that play right there. The tier 2 in middle is looking very vulnerable for IGL right now. Yeah, even with only 2 minions.
This is the Caitlyn fast push composition coming in. When you can find a pick, you immediately just converge on the turret. It doesn't matter how many members are around. You can push because of your range advantage. And now, moving to the top side, Hallelujah is all there by his lonesome. They have to clear this out or at least force him to recall so they can get the turret. Baron available as well, but ASUS Fate shouldn't look to contest that because of the damage coming in from Rune as well as LY4.
So the big problem for IGL, especially around the Dragon, which you just saw, is if you don't land your initial knock-up onto Listener, then they have to take Listener down. Listener is still alive. Hallelujah getting taken down right now, but Valkyrie also landing a good amount of free hits. Looks like Listener has finally dropped. Valkyrie at the back right now will be able to take down Shady in just a second. Maybe the chase onto Miyu. That was a huge engage coming in from Hallelujah. Not sure if we can get a replay of that, but that was fantastic.
I got a bit overexcited there, shouting Valkyrie, but it was his collateral damage that won them the fight.
For sure.
But 3 members strong.
Yeah, the key really was, this time they managed to land the engage onto Listener. There was a flag and drive coming in from Hallelujah, and then using the flash with that to actually reposition himself to get the knockup onto Listener. And then Rune coming in to land so much damage. Really, really fantastic from Hallelujah to find that kind of engage. This is the same thing he does with Lee Sin. It's just if you give me a flank, you're gonna get Dragon Raged, back into my team. Uh-oh, Miyu.
Oh, he makes it.
He's got it. Yep.
Does he get the execute?
You got it. You want to die?
Hallelujah coming in!
Are you kidding me? Why? No, I don't know, man. You should have just died, bro.
Should have just died there. LY4 gets the kill credit with the help picks. 2-0 and 8, looking very comfortable now on this AP top laner. Looking much stronger, in fact.
What was he thinking, man?
I have no idea.
It's like, life is so precious. A few more moments, please.
And then he went over and gave the money over to IGL.
Yeah, look at this. 3 pink wards being picked up on the side of IGL. They've gotten the Baron already, so what this can only mean is forward pushing, forward pushing.
Extend your pink ward line and deny vision away from ASUS Fate, and that's when you find your picks. Your flash Tibbers into double distortion will clean up Miyu or Listener if you can find the picks, of course. For all intents and purposes, it is 4,000 gold ahead. The Singaporean team looking rather strong to close out the series 2-0 here. Let's not mention that ASUS Fate as well. The carry or raise the puppy composition Listener starting to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think the issue right now that IGL must be aware of is if they don't hit the engage onto Listener, Shady's actually doing a good job blocking a lot of the follow-up.
Yeah.
That Hallelujah as well as Rune are when they engage. So usually Hallelujah will jump in, and if Rune is next to him, that's good and all. But the other members, LY4, Valkyrie as well as Rapier even, they get zoned away by the Rupture. Shady's doing a fantastic job of that. We'll have to see though.
Oh.
Taken away by Valkyrie. Nicely done.
Hashtag worth.
Yeah. 2 minutes onto Dragon. Don't think that ASUS Fate will be able to contest that, but what has IGL honestly done with this Baron buff? They've gotten red buff, so that's good and all for them, but the push, especially with those 3 pink wards that they've picked up, I mean, Baron buff, about 3/4 done. They haven't yet found their way onto another turret.
They have done a good job of setting a pink ward perimeter around the jungle, so they'll know whoever walks in, and sieging, very simple once you know once you know who's in the jungle here. Rune trying to find the chains, huge hitbox onto Cho'Gath. He'll say, I'll take that chain right there. Maybe trying his best to find the pokes that he needs onto members of IGL, but is Listener the point man? If he dies, it is game over for ASUS Fate, but if he stays alive and deals out damage consistently, IGL might be finding themselves in a tiebreaker.
Double the kills right now for IGL. Still lagging behind one Dragon. Actually, very close tower score as well from ASUS Fate. So this is what we were talking about as we saw in game number 1, right? About 25 minutes into the game, ASUS Fate seemed to be holding their own. Game number 2, IGL, with the confidence of game number 1 under their belt, have gotten a substantial lead, about 5,000 or so, especially with the Baron buff. But we see that definitely ASUS Fate isn't out of this just yet. They managed to put this competition, you know, into its gears. It's working well for them.
Yeah.
Maybe now with the Dragon fight, we'll see which of these two teams really is more proficient at pulling off the strategy, because both have some very, very obvious strengths. We've still got the assassination from Rune, as well as Valkyries, LeBlanc, and Graves. The amount of bursts coming out from those two, if Listener is in any of those, you know, hitboxes, he's gone.
IGL has to activate something really soon once ASUS Fate starts itemizing MR. That's the window that will close for them. Dragon now. The second one for IGL, if they take this down, the recall from LY4 teleport available will signal that he can home guard into the fight rather quickly. Rune sitting on the side doing some security duty. Kiho will see him out, and tower destruction buff once again to IGL. This is when they can start capitalizing on the advantages. Just accelerate the game right here. Find picks. Oh wow, just one spear taking him down solo.
That's another one of the strengths available to the ASUS Fate composition, which is Nidalee is providing a good amount of poke, but it's quite a funny build coming out from her, right? With the Abyssal Scepter, as well as the Sheen, as well as it looks like... No, I think that is still the Magi enchantment.
Yeah.
But it's a very close range Nidalee build, which, if you think about it, is completely unnecessary when you're talking about Maokai and Cho'Gath. Oh! The flash stun onto Listener. Have to imagine he'll be going down. There's the Cataclysm as well. The Challenging Smite reducing a ton of damage that should have been coming out. Shady has been isolated. That's a big Cho'Gath. Has to flash away. Did get the stun down. Where's the Glitter Lance to slow him down? Oh, Hallelujah actually a bit too sloppy with his positioning right there. Not respecting the silence. Chains coming in. Rune maybe gonna get locked up right here. Has to flash away from that. Finally, Valkyrie joins the fight. There's the AD carry on the side of IGL, now doing all that damage. Manages to lock down the Nidalee. Slay himself, now in a bit of trouble. Excuse me, will be piecing out. And that Dark Binding right there, very, very close to locking down Rune. Importantly, 1 for 3, and the AD carry is still alive from for IGL. Does mean that the pushing power is still available.
Oh, Valkyrie is going off. He's gonna try and find the kill onto Akiho, but the Soul Shackles will slow him down. The flash away from the Morgana will keep him alive. Now the mid lane should be the focus here. Valkyrie still chasing with Rapier onto Slay. They aren't pushing the waves in. They aren't getting the objectives in. The teleport being used by LY4 to join back into the fight. Rapier might fall here. LY4's teleport not picking up a kill. Summoner spell being used there, and off the side, Rune getting taken very low, has to back off. I believe it was the ace in the hole that almost killed him.
Whew. Quite the intense series of events right there. But IGL need to be asking themselves like a question, which is, are those kills more worth it than the towers? Because with Cho'Gath as well as Morgana and Caitlyn, we're seeing it's actually really difficult to keep those minion waves alive and get IGL, you know, meaningful tower damage. Shady here taking a fair bit of damage. There's the Challenging Smite, which will mean a good amount of true damage, but do these two have enough to actually take them down? Once again, Hallelujah quite aggressive with his positioning, but does manage to flash out. Nice job by him and LY4 to team up and take down Shady.
Yeah.
Baron in 20 seconds. They have a timing window with Shady down to work with.
There's a window now for them to start controlling the top side of the map. Bot wave huge coming in for IGL. It's gonna shove up very quickly. A big wave of ranged minions, if our observer can kindly show us that. In the bottom lane, someone from ASUS Fate will have to defend that, and that frees up an extra man on IGL's side. With the advantage, he could very well take the fight. Baron has spawned LI4 together with his teammates around the area to secure that. Akiho might be looking to defend this away though.
Yeah, ASUS Fate just not confident enough to move to establish the Baron vision. It's a bit too late right now. You talked about the mismatch. Maokai, it's a bit too late for him to even join the fight. Miyu going in for the steal. But a good job from IGL to actually push the pause button on that. Say, hang on guys, let Rune get into position. And absolutely delete him. Rune, some fancy moves of his own. isn't quite able to find Listener, but maybe LY4 will have something to say about that. Flash ultimate to lock Listener down, and then the Glitter Lance after that to take him down. There's the carry roll coming out from LY4, and oh, the Chomp just saying, get out of here, Rune, but overall, there's still a bunch of carries alive on the side of IGL. Valkyrie as well as LY4 cleaning up right now. There's the slam dunk to shut down the tree. Ace coming in with 3 members bearing up. I do think IGL will be able to take at least this inhibitor, if not one Nexus turret. Maybe if they're greedy, they might try and get the end, but Listener, 10 seconds.
No, they can take the game here. Hallelujah and LY4 so tanky and so strong. And with Valkyrie at his power point, they could very well just take the Nexus and Nexus turret and the Nexus instead, choosing to back off. If they can find a kill onto Miu though, they will be looking to finish the game off. Instead, backing off is the safe choice here for IGL. Get a new set of items and a final push to finish it off here. Insidious Gaming Legends 2-0, very close and very near to them in their
grasp. A little bit unfortunate for them that the minion wave didn't quite stack up. They were subsequently tanking a lot of the Nexus turret damage, but overall, you know, the strength of the ASUS Fate composition is basically having a huge meat wall for your AD carry that then gets free hits at the back. But twice now in these late game scenarios, we've seen Listener been singled out. And once again, I'm just very critical of this Nidalee build. You know, it does a good amount of poke damage, but you can imagine, oh, there is the Righteous Glory as well as the Talisman pop. Akiho will be dropped. IGL's LY4 is godlike right now. They have a 5v4 with 30 seconds. Looks like Valkyrie with the red buff will be able to pick up Miu. Just going to be tagging him with 1 or 2 more auto.
Oh.
Ah, are you kidding me? There you go. We've seen that happen before. So, 2 members down on the side of ASUS Fate. Should be a free push onto the second inhibitor for IGL.
Should be the mid lane push coming in. The wave is approaching the inhibitor turret now. ASUS Fate can't really defend this. Rune might want to pick up a kill onto Shady here. A lot of damage with the double Malice, Sigil of Malice, excuse me. It's not in the back, getting taken very low by LY4, and with the black shoe, it might buy him some time, but in the front Slay just so tanky. Shady has to do something here as Rupture will knock out Valkyrie for just a bit, exhaust on him as well, so Shackles will try to lock him up. Akio will fall before the full effect takes control, and Listener, the only one left alive, Miu spawning in a single second now. IGL, 5 members still. Rune just taking the spears, not really caring because this should be game for the Singaporean side. Baron empowered minions coming in. Last Nexus turret left alive. IGL looking to finish this off and take the 2-0. One more Nexus turret to go, and the Nexus itself should be the game. And Lister just falling over, padding his KDA here is Rune. 1 more kill, double kill for Rune, padding his KDA just a bit more. Nexus falling 2-0 to IGL. And congratulations to the Singaporean team. They will make it to Vietnam for the playoffs.
Fantastic showing from IGL. 31-9 at the end of the game. You have to say that was, of course, due to the fact that they chased kills quite unnecessarily, but definitely the mid game and the late game just looks much sharper from IGL. ASUS Fate had a decent composition but didn't play around it, and Hallelujah as well as Rune, I have to say, really good laser focus to recognize there's just one kind of cornerstone of that team, your AD carry. If that goes, your whole game goes really.
Great performance by the Singaporean side, live in the Greener Stadium at Bugis Plus. But for now, guys, we're going to go for a short